Nothing says spooky season like a black cat in a cauldron on your front door. I'm Ashley and this is Chip Builds, and I'm going to show you how to make this super simple door hanger using the Glowforge and some paint. Okay, so here we are in the Glowforge interface. We have our design open and over here we have our settings. Typically for the first part that I'll cut out on this piece is this backer piece, and for that I do the thick draftboard settings. I have done a little bit of different presets for it just for my personal laser. So when I do a 1/4 inch MDF, which is their draftboard, I have the speed set to 130. I think it's just a couple numbers down from what Glowforge provides. So besides from the backer piece, all the rest of the pieces of this design I cut out on medium draftboard. That way the door hanger is not too heavy. And so for that as well, I have changed the cut settings a little bit to speed of 180, and I think the typical Glowforge speed is about 183. But so this cuts out pretty quickly, and overall a very simple design to cut out. I do have the files available over on Design Bundles or Etsy or my Patreon if you want to cut it out, or I also offer the DIY kit for this. Okay, so I've already done a coat of spray primer on the cauldron part of this door hanger because I got this really cool hammered metal spray paint, and so I thought I'd give it a try. But because this is MDF and it really likes to soak up paint and stain and stuff, I did a base coat of the primer. That way we don't use too much of the expensive paint. So this is a hammered metal spray paint, and so I think it's going to make the cauldron look super cool. Now I am hoping that I only have to do one coat of this paint since I did put the primer on before, but time will tell. If I do need to do another coat, I either have to do it within 1 hour or wait 24 hours to do another coat. So I'm just gonna let this sit in the sun and dry for a little bit, and then we can find out. All right, so I've decided that for the rest of these pieces, I'm just gonna stick with spray paint just because it goes quicker and I don't have to use as many brushes for craft paint or chalk paint or whatever. I do prefer spray paint over like brushing paint just because I think it's quicker and doesn't take as long. For the majority of this project, we are using Rust-Oleum colors. With the exception of the cauldron, we use the bare hammered metal spray paint. So for the fish bone, we're gonna do this kind of antique off-white. I think it's called heirloom white. So we're just gonna give it a good shake and then let her go. Well, we're not gonna use heirloom white because it clogged. And I don't know how to fix it. Ooh, that paint looks really chunky. I'm just gonna set this one aside. We're just gonna use some normal white paint. I think for the cat, we are gonna do black, but I want it to stand out a little bit from the black cauldron, so I am gonna kind of dust it with the white spray paint and just see if that adds a little more depth to it. And if not, I can always just go in with a paintbrush and do some dry brushing of white on it. So for the word welcome, I'm gonna use purple paint. And then for the little bubbles on the cauldron, we're gonna use green. And for the little handle on the cauldron, we're gonna do kind of a dark medium gray. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then we can assemble it all together with some super glue, and then we can add our rope for the door hanger. So with the cat, I am going to very, very lightly dust it with white, but I'm gonna have the can really far away. That way, just barely any paint gets on it. So I'm not really loving how this kind of looked with the misted white paint, so I'm going to take some chalk paint and do some dry brushing across it to see if that will help give some depth to the piece. So I'm just going to get some paint on my brush, wipe off the majority of it, and then just kind of... So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust it with a little bit of black paint, and then I think it's going to be how I want it. Alright, for this project, like the majority of my projects, I am going to use the Starbond super glue. This one is in the color black. I am out of my normal clear ones, and this is a medium thickness. They do have an activator spray that comes with it, but so for now, since this is what I got, I'm going to use this black Starbond. There is a big old hole right here because when I originally did a test of this file, I made a mistake. This stuff cures really quickly, so for now I don't think I'm going to put any clamping on it. And also because this spray paint that I use is that hammered texture, I don't want the little clips to dig into it and leave anything behind. But but I still don't quite like the contrast between that, so I'm gonna try and see if I can do anything else to make it not quite black, even though I know the cats are black for this season. The next thing we're gonna do is we are going to glue on the little bubbles. This DIY kit is available in my Etsy shop. All right, so I ended up just painting it gray. And now we're gonna glue on our fish. So I'm just eyeballing its placement, just putting some finger pressure down. Then we can glue in our little cauldron handle. Like so. I am gonna get something to weigh this down since it is a little bit warped from the paint. And for that, I'm gonna use these metal 1, 2, 3 blocks. Now the DIY kit does come with little cutout eyes, but I'm just gonna use a marker and draw them in. It doesn't have to be perfect, it could be whatever you want. And then next, all you have to do is cut out the rope and hang it up. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. If you want this file, it will be listed in a link in the description, or you can go onto Design Bundles or Etsy, multiple places where you can find this file. I'll also be adding it to my Patreon. Thanks for watching guys, see ya.